What is the library in the database version of Logseq? This is the first I've heard of it, so let's explore it together. And as always, I'm going to go through how I assume it's relating to the Markdown version. So I'll run you through what I think Markdown version equivalent might be, and then we'll go explore what it actually is. So just judging by the documentation, the library is a built-in page that displays and edits namespaced pages as if they were blocks on a page. This is powerful as it allows an outliner to build and organize a hierarchy of pages. So this is, So I will run you through how I would create a hierarchy of pages in the Markdown version. You might not know about this sort of feature. So let's go through. Let's just do some crazy example, right? So we will create a page called vehicle, and then we will also create a page called vehicle/car. Interesting. You may not have ever seen that done before in the Markdown version. So what does it actually do? So vehicle is by its own right, just an own page, right? But now look down here, you can see it says hierarchy, and it's got vehicle and then car. So we could drill that down even further. Vehicle/car/Nissan, and then we go into this one, and if we go to the vehicle, you should be able to see the whole hierarchy, right? So vehicle is at the top of the hierarchy, then vehicle car Nissan, and this is a good way to, this might not necessarily be how you organize it in reality, but at least this is a good visual representation of what's happening. So we can keep going, and then if we look, I mean, I think you get the idea, right? So it creates this hierarchy, and you can see how these things relate. And if we look at the graph view, it shows nothing. No, there we go. Okay. So it shows vehicle and then vehicle car, and they are all connected automatically, right? So we could do a different brand of car. So if we go vehicle/car/Toyota, and then underneath that one, we do vehicle/car/Toyota/Supra this time. And then now we can look at the graph view, and we can see how they diverge. So vehicle is at the top, and if we want to extend this out a little bit more as well, so if we go vehicle/motorbike, or let's use motorcycle, it's a bit fancier. Vehicle/motorcycle, and then we can do vehicle/motorcycle/Suzuki, and then vehicle/motorcycle/Suzuki/GSX. Now, if we look at the graph view, we can see some divergence happening here. So we've got vehicle. This is the central node, really. This contains the entire hierarchy, essentially underneath this, if you can imagine. So, I mean, obviously this is a flat graph, so you can't really visualize it in 3D necessarily, but you can imagine, right? Vehicle, and then on this side we've got motorcycle, on this side we've got car, and then car diverges to the specific make. And then you could do the same within Skyline, and you could diverge that out. Supra, you could diverge that out, and you could maybe do it by year or model, a specific type of Supra, etc. So I think I'm thinking that this is what the library will kind of do, but maybe in a better way. So let's jump over to the database version of Logseq and have a play around and see what we can actually discover about what the library is. And because this works differently, we have a couple of different options in front of us, and I'll outline them here. So our first option, oh, that's pretty neat. I didn't realize you could do that. So if you type the number and then press space, it actually changes the node type from the bullet point into a number. So that's actually pretty cool. You learn something new when you experiment, right? So our first option is to create individual pages. Let library sort, which I mean, we would have to do that manually. I assume we would have to do that manually in the library because it would have no intrinsic way of understanding the hierarchy. So we could create individual pages. We could create, what's happened here? We could create tags and extend those tags. And this third option, I don't know if this third option would actually work. However, we could create, say we could create a page on the journal page, and then create a page on an indented block below. So what I mean by that is basically like this. Have the page would be there, so like page 1, and then below that indented we would have sub page 1 or something like that. So these are different options that we could try. So let's try the first one, and I wonder if we can set all of these as, oh, interesting. We might be able to highlight all of those. Set property, task, no. Okay, what options do we have here? If we set property, I just want to see, I know we get sidetracked a bit. I just wanted to see if we could bulk turn all of these into to-do items. I don't think we're going to be able to do that. So we can just do to do, and it's good. I think we can start using what we learn about Logseq in future videos as well. So it would be nice to incorporate all of those elements and see how it works. So, okay, so all right, that's cool. So it was on number 4 and I pressed enter, and instead of going down to the next block, it changed it from a number node to a bullet point node. That's pretty cool. So we'll make a space. I don't know if that still works. Yes, okay, so the horizontal line still works. Formatting, that's pretty cool. So we're going to create an individual page. So how should we name these so that we can distinguish between them? So all right, this one can be a car example. This one can be a motorcycle example. And this one can maybe be a company example. And I'm just thinking this off the top of my head. I don't really have any plan, but maybe it doesn't work out. But at least we learned a few things along the way. Okay, so we will create vehicle as a page. Right, so we're going to literally just create individual pages and then see if we can organize them in some way on the library page. So car, we might have to change our examples. Vehicle, car, Nissan, Nissan Skyline. Okay, that should be enough. And what we're going to do, so we got recent, I visited the library page, that's about all I've done. So we can add an existing page here. So if we search for vehicle, that's going to add that page. Okay, what if we search for car and then Nissan and Skyline? Okay, so what is this? Okay, so all it's done is it's taken the name of the page and I guess it's created a reference or something. So if we look at the created time, it's 4. So these were the actual creation times of those pages, not when these nodes here were, or these blocks nodes were created. So that's interesting. So again, if we take reference of the documentation, it states this is powerful as it allows an outliner to build and organize a hierarchy of pages. So in this example, we would have to manually create some sort of hierarchy. So it would be like this. We'll use a different example for our second point. Oh, I forgot. We gotta remember to do this, right? So this is doing. We are doing this now, right? And if we go for, then let's try and separate things, right? So we've got vehicle like so, and then we've got car, and then they're sort of loosely motorcycle, and Suzuki and GSX-R. And we'll go back to the library. So then we are going to add pages, and my assumption is that it's just going to keep adding them in order. So we've got motorcycle, Suzuki, GSX-R. Okay, so it's adding them in order and it's allowing us to sort of organize them in some type of hierarchy. Okay, so I think I understand how that's working. So I wonder if we create a block here, example 1, does that then create a page? So if we search control example 1, okay, so it's showing up under library example 1. If we go to that as a page, it does. It actually creates a page. So even though it's not using the page syntax, we can actually reference example 1 here, and it takes us to an actual page. Okay, so I think interesting. So I just had an idea for the third example, but this one, I think we can consider that done. And we'll move this one into doing. So create tags and then extend. So I guess we could probably use the same example. We can reuse the example. Yeah, I think we can reuse the example. I'll go back to the library. I'll clear this out, delete all of that. And then, so car, we will turn car into a tag. How do we convert it? Convert to tag. Okay, so if you're ever wondering how to convert a page to a tag, go to the page itself, click on the 3 dots up here, and then go down to convert to tag. Namespaced pages can't be tags. Let me just take a screenshot of that and copy that, and I'll just do a quick search. I don't fully understand what that error means. See if we can create car namespace. It may be because we have it referenced here. So let's see if we can delete that and then do car. Namespaced pages can't be tags. Oh, okay. I didn't notice that before. Okay, it kind of makes sense, but why? Yeah, okay. So let me go to vehicle. Interesting. So the hierarchy that we created in the library seems to be sticking. So perhaps if we delete all of that, go to car again. Yeah, so we're going to have to delete all of this stuff. I think that should be enough. Let's see if we can create car now as a tag. Yes, okay, so that works. All right. So then we go, so we had to delete all of that stuff in order for us to release the car page to be converted into a tag. So if we go to the car tag, this extends vehicle. Oh, because vehicle isn't a tag, so we're going to have to convert everything to a tag. That's okay. We can do that. So we go to the vehicle page, convert to tag. Good. We didn't do Nissan yet, did we? So we go to Nissan. Oh, that one was still referencing it. So page name can't be blank. Page name isn't blank. Darling. So Nissan Skyline. We'll leave Skyline as a page. So Nissan extends car. Whoops, that was not what I wanted. Nissan extends car. So car extends vehicle, Nissan extends, and then what don't we'll do this one as well actually, because we'll convert Skyline to a tag, and then this can extend Nissan. All right, then we'll go through and we will do the same thing for motorcycles. Yeah, so we have to go through and delete these on each page. So Suzuki, we should remove GSXR. Name page isn't blank, Sunny Jim. So I don't know what you're talking about there. And GSXR should be blank. All right, so motorcycle, convert to tag, beautiful. And then Suzuki, convert to tag, lovely. GSXR, convert to tag, good. So then GSXR will extend Suzuki. Suzuki will extend motorcycle. And motorcycle will extend vehicle. Now the whole point of this is just to see how the library handles this stuff. So we are on the second one now. So if we now go to the library, add existing pages. So what if we go all the way to the bottom of the hierarchy? Let's start with the motorbike. No, so it's not going to work because these are tags and not pages. So the library is explicitly mentioning pages. Okay, so that's good to know. So that won't work if you convert all of them to tags. Okay, cool. So that one's now done. We understand how it works. So now we have to go through and change all of these back to. Okay. So I'm just going to do, I just converted the motorcycle ones. So we'll just work with motorcycle for now. So what I want to try, I forgot to change this to doing. It's such a tricky habit to get into, which each of these tasks, like it only takes a second to do, but it's easy to overlook. Okay. So if we can do that is the quickest way to, so this is, we just created an ad hoc hierarchy of sorts. It's not really recognized properly as a hierarchy just yet. So if we go to GSXR, it's not going to show, actually it is recognizing it as a hierarchy. That's cool. So hypothesis might actually work. So if we just try to do the lowest one here, okay, so that didn't work. What if we undo that? We undo that. And then if we build them out, I still have a feeling we will have to manually indent them on the library page. So let's try all the way from vehicle. No, vehicle is still a tag. All right, let's fix that. Let's convert vehicle back into a page. Good. Go back to the library, added existing page, vehicle. Beautiful. Okay, so our vehicle is sitting there. Then we'll go to motorcycle. Yeah, so this is pretty much as expected, right? So it doesn't automatically indent given the indentation that we had already created on the journal page. So if we go add Suzuki, I'm interested to see what happens when we indent it here manually. And why does it have that arrow next to it? That's quite curious. And nothing happens when we, okay. So we already, it already recognized that this was a hierarchy. So let's head back to the library again. I don't know what was going on there. So now we can create our hierarchy in the library page. Now, what does that affect? Go back to the journal. And if we go to GSXR, it still has the same hierarchy here. So it kind of loosely, and if we look up the top here, it's got library, vehicle, motorcycle, Suzuki. So we can, okay, so that's pretty much all it did. So this kind of, I don't know, the library doesn't know what it wants to be. It's basically, all it is a visual representation that you can build out yourself that, you know, kind of in a cursory way affects hierarchy. However, there's a bit of a problem because these aren't links. What are you supposed to do with these? It's, I don't know. It's kind of like this, it's in between a table of contents and some sort of hierarchy structuring mechanism. All right, but we can now consider this one done as well. And we recognize that when you create the hierarchy on the journal page, it does actually recognize it as a hierarchy. But then so if we go to motorcycle, it's got Suzuki and GSXR. And then if you go to vehicle, it has motorcycle, Suzuki, GSXR within the specific page. So I think that's the only difference, is that you can visually see it on the library page, and within each page it has the other levels below. So vehicle is our top level in the hierarchy, and then underneath that we've got motorcycle, underneath that Suzuki, underneath that GSXR. So then if we were to, I think these are all tags still, aren't they? Yeah, so I mean, we can convert tag to page, and then we'll go back to, where are we? Yeah. Oh, we should convert, I think, Nissan next to, and then car. We can then convert that back to a page. And then we can do the same thing here, right? Or actually, no, we can insert it here. So what you might do is Car Nissan Skyline, like so. And then, so when we go in here, it will recognize the hierarchy. What if we go into vehicle page? Okay, so yeah, so you'll notice that the linked references recognizes it has motorcycle and car listed here. So then if we were to go back to the library and then add an existing page, so we would want to add car first because that's the next one down. So we still have to know what we want to do, and we have to build it out manually. So if we go Nissan and then Skyline, okay, right. And then tab, 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 and there we have it. And then if we go to the vehicle page, you will see hierarchy of both, so motorcycle and car, and it shows you the entire hierarchy as well as in the link references. So it's kind of duplicating data a little bit, maybe unnecessarily if you do it this way. Yeah, okay, but that's what the library does, if anybody was wondering. So it's nice to do a bit of experimentation. If we look at the graph view, we go choose pages from here, then we will see here, oh, the whiteboard is there, but whiteboard I don't think is a feature in the database version yet. Anyway, so we've got vehicle. Why does this look so messy? I don't know. Let's, okay, there we go. So vehicle, motorcycle relates to vehicle, Suzuki relates to motorcycle, GSXR relates to Suzuki, the same way that Skyline relates to Nissan, relates to car, relates to vehicle. So that's good. And if you were to put like a truck or something, and then it would come out from vehicle here, or go to vehicle, sorry. Awesome. All right. Well, that settles what that does. Hope that was helpful, and see you in the next one.